This is the Third and 30 podcast, a coach's podcast where we believe opportunity is everything. We're operating in what leadership experts call a VUCA environment: volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. And if we're honest, that environment is crushing teams. It's eroding culture, it's draining productivity. And when there's no clarity, there's no direction, no shared vision, people just start guessing. And when people guess, standards drop. That's why vision matters. That's why leaders must consistently tell the story of where the team is going and why it matters. When the mission is clear, volatility doesn't paralyze you. Uncertainty doesn't divide you. Complexity doesn't overwhelm you. Ambiguity doesn't fracture culture. Vision creates alignment. Alignment builds trust. Trust fuels performance. Today, we're also breaking down the three P's of culture, not coach P's, but the three P's: permit, promote, and practice. What you permit becomes a standard. What you promote becomes priority. What you practice becomes the identity. If you tolerate poor effort, that's your culture. If you highlight accountability, that's your culture. If you consistently rehearse discipline, communication, and preparation, that becomes who you are. Culture isn't accidental, it's reinforced daily. And none of this works without teamwork. Great teams understand how to leverage every individual's strengths. Not everyone needs to be the star. Kind of put your ego to the side, but everyone must know their role. Championship environments maximize talent, encourage ownerships, and demand contribution. When people feel valued for what they uniquely bring, engagement rises and performance follows. That's what we're diving into today: leadership in chaos, building culture with intention, and creating teams that thrive no matter the environment. My name is Coach Pravi Manchabragada, and I'm joined alongside, as always, co-host, leader, educator, Coach Jason Chaddock. Coach, pleasure to have you back. How first I want to ask you how you doing today?
I'm awesome, man. Thanks for that great intro. I'm doing
Yeah,
good.
no, and I want to get your thoughts. You put together the ideas for this podcast. I kind of wanted to introduce them, but you had some experiences recently, and I'd love for you to elaborate more on what I just brought up: the VUCA environment, the three Ps, and teamwork. But wherever you want to start, please, I'd love for you to share with our listeners more of the elaboration of behind those three ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll dive into that in a minute, piece by piece by piece. And I'm looking forward to it. A lot was on my mind while I was traveling last week and observing, literally just observing
Yeah.
the world around me. It's amazing what you can hear, see, feel, touch, taste in an airport. Um, so first things first, though, I'm good. Weather outside's getting a little windy today. We have another windstorm coming in.
Yep.
How are you doing with the walking journey? Let's get there first.
Coach, I appreciate you asking that. It's been okay. I won't lie. It hasn't been as good as I wanted it to, but the reasonings behind it are the sickness is going around, man. I don't know if you got something, but I mean, it seems to be going around. I was sick. I caught a stomach bug a couple weeks ago. Then that led into me getting a cold. Then my son, who's 11 months old now, he got his first cold, sickness. So that kind of kept us afloat, not really afloat, but kind of, kind of inside a little bit. And then my wife just recently came down with
Jeez.
something herself. So it's kind of making its rounds. I know a couple other people in my life that it's the same thing. So it hasn't been as good as I want to, but I've personally I'm on the mend here, and I've kind of turned the corner. And so the weather is a little crummy down where I am as well, and it was raining, which was kind of weird
Ooh.
for about 15 minutes, and now it's just kind of windy outside. But um, hoping to get back to it. What's today? Tuesday. We're recording this, so hoping to get back to it. I think the weather's supposed to be nice for the next couple days. So, it's been. I think 2 weeks ago I hit it three times. Last week I hit twice. So,
Okay.
you know, good, not great. I'd put it that
Yeah.
way.
You're there, you're accountable to it, you know what's going on.
Yeah.
If you miss something, you're able to highlight, here's why I wasn't
Hmm.
trying to miss it. Here's why I missed it. So I can appreciate that.
For sure.
We'll keep each other accountable.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you.
Um, yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for everyone's accountability, including my own. I've even been trying to like, hey, I gotta trim up some, get my act together. And I'm still on like this 6 to 8 pound journey. My travel didn't help. And I say the travel didn't help. It wasn't that I was not eating good. It wasn't that I was overeating or anything like that. It was literally like finding food.
Mhm.
Like my last meal I had, and this is where I heard some crazy stuff that just made me laugh and made me get into some of our topic today. I went to this place in Texas. I was at the Houston airport and I went to this one place, and it was like a Texas hot chicken and cheese sandwich.
Oh,
It was really good.
it sounds really good.
It was
In
really
in
good.
in Houston, Texas, no
Yeah.
less. That sounds great.
And it was the only thing I ate all day.
Wow.
So it was lucky for me, it was very good, very tasty.
Uh-huh.
I want to say this though, overall, the Texas experience was great. I went there to speak at a conference. Specifically, I was speaking about culture and leadership. Ironic, right? So the joy of it was all the interactions, all the networking, the talking with people, and being able to share stories, share insights. I was also giving 3 presentations, which was really cool to do, and got lots of great feedback from people. People very intrigued, excited, lots of Q&A back and forth, sharing ideas after the sessions and things like that. So tons of good they came out of that. It was really exciting to have those opportunities. And that, to be very specific, was professionals in the field I come from. So I do want to highlight that it was professionals in the field that I come from. What I wrote about in my most recent blog and what I'm getting into now with you is what I'm hearing from leaders and managers and salespeople from all over, from all walks of life. This was nothing to do with my field at all. My field, not to say we don't have that in my field. We do have this.
Mhm.
We do experience this in my field. I think we're more cognizant of it though, and we try to eliminate it quicker. I was and this was multiple airports. I was in 3 different airports, and I heard this in all the different airports. This wasn't picking on one airport or the other. I was absolutely dumbfounded at some of what I heard. Because keep in mind, I'm at an airport and I'm traveling during a normal work week.
Mhm.
And I'm taking a crazy early morning flight out, have a quick layover, and then land in my ultimate destination. And then same thing coming back. And what was nuts, the conversations you hear, these weren't people traveling for vacation. These are people traveling for work. Can I repeat that? These were people traveling for work. And to hear the things they were talking about or getting frustrated about, like just the talking in general is one thing. Now, to be specific, it was people talking to people they were traveling with for a business occasion. It was people they were on the phone with.
Mhm.
I can tell you almost every single phone call was dealing with someone trying to get a better reality on the situation, get clarity of a situation that they were dealing with because they weren't sure what the heck they were supposed to be doing. While they're highlighting on the phone that, hey, I have this quick hour layover here. What is it I need to get done? Who do I need to reach? Because I'm not understanding this based on the email that was sent out because I
Right.
thought I had reached out to Mr. Jones already and had this conversation. I thought we were good to go. But now I'm reading this email as the plane was landing and I'm hearing this. What am I supposed to be doing? The VUCA environment, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. This is surrounding us 24/7. I can say what I saw the most of was uncertainty and ambiguity, which both kind of tailor into a similar thing of not sure at one end and the ambiguity. Well, that's really mysterious at that end. Why am I not getting all the details on this? Have you ever seen the show Suits?
Yes.
It's a show about lawyers.
Great show.
Yeah, it's awesome. So we've been watching that again. Suits is a fantastic show.
Hmm.
Lots of drama. And like almost every case, they go through this VUCA environment.
Mhm.
There's always volatility, obviously, in the legal system. There's always uncertainty, but the ambiguity is the mysteriousness of maybe not disclosing the whole truth, maybe not getting everything out there. And I heard that so many times from the people on the phone. The complexity of situations I got to hear a little bit more about when someone was traveling with a work partner. And mind you, I'm not purposely listening to anything. I'm hanging out. And one layover I had was 3 hours. So let me tell you, I heard all sorts of conversations. This VUCA environment is draining, though, and you could also sense tension. When someone goes into a volatile situation, they typically know they are,
Mhm.
or they know there's the potential for it to be volatile. Hey, I got two parties here. They don't necessarily agree on what's going on. Or, hey, my company is going in to help this company with X, Y, and Z. They're all on board with X, but Y and Z, we have not gotten their commitment from yet.
Mhm.
And they're not wanting to do it this way. So we have a little bit of tension in the room. It's a little volatile. Usually we kind of know that going into the situation. The uncertainty, though, when you're traveling and you're going to a place and you're just not quite sure what exactly you're supposed to do there, or you think you're doing the right thing, then the ambiguity creeps in
Mhm.
and it's mysterious and you're not sure what's going on. That ambiguity now can create the complexity because you're not, maybe you weren't certain, or maybe you thought you were dead straight on what was going on. And then you get
Right.
there and it's ambiguous,
Right.
right? So these are things that happen. We are working in this every day. I'm not saying it's every day, all day,
Mhm.
because I also heard some good conversations. I don't want to make it sound like every single conversation I heard was the VUCA environment. It just brought to my attention so much. Think about the amount of money that is wasted by taxpayers, that is wasted by people investing into stocks for these corporations who are doing all of this work. And think about how these stocks fluctuate up and down because it's volatile.
Mhm.
And when there is the ambiguity and people are unsure, that stock starts to plummet. I want you to just think about that for a minute. Think about it as a taxpayer. We all live in a city or a county or a district of some sort that we're paying tax into.
Right.
When our leaders are living in a VUCA environment and maybe not enjoying it, their coworkers are not enjoying it. Think about that. Think about the cost associated with that, because now you could have disgruntled coworkers, or you could just have unhappy coworkers. Either way, think about that. That is a cost of doing business that I don't want to endure.
Mhm.
Whether it's the vision of a company is unclear, or it's the project you're working on and the objective of that project is unclear, or the direction of the project is unclear. That creates the VUCA. And that is exactly what we're trying to avoid. So I have, recently produced this new blog that I put out, just kind of addressing some of this. The amount of what I heard was alarming.
Mhm.
Here's what's more alarming, though. You have person A who is talking on the phone. You have persons B and C in another area talking to each other and they're traveling. All three, though, come out not feeling great about something or being upset about something,
Mhm.
saying negative things about leadership or negative things about the process of the project.
Right.
Well, they're either going to meet with that client or a different client. And in a couple of cases, I heard so many different conversations. I can tell you it was really 50-50.
Yeah.
Sometimes they were traveling to go solve what it was that they were
Mhm.
talking about. And other times it was, well, I'm going to be out of town on this for 2 days, so I won't be able to get back to that till Friday.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, wow, okay, where's this person's head at now?
Mhm.
And they're going to go handle business with a completely XYZ customers. That's alarming when you think about it, because what is their frame of mind now?
Right.
Are they able to fully get engaged forget about the negativity they just experienced. And that's challenging. So whether it's the vision of a company or whether it's the vision of a project, we have to have a level of clarity. One of the things I was looking at was 6 key questions to ask as your, whether it's the vision of a company and where we're going as a company, or whether it is a project. Either way, these are interchangeable. Where are we going, or what are we doing? Obviously, the what are we doing is more of a project. And why?
Mm-hmm.
Question number 1, where are we going, or what are we doing, and why? We have to be able to give a why. We have to be able to give a credible why. That's really important to what we do. Okay. Be clear on that, because that's a really
Clear.
important step. Gotta have the why. If we don't know why, it's hard to get people on board. Number 2, who needs to be involved? One of the things I was hearing that was consistent is how they were having too many people involved in the meetings. And which person am I supposed to go to? Because there was 3 different people from sustainability there, or there was 3 different people from product development there. I don't, which one of them am I supposed to go to? They were all there. One's a manager, one's a supervisor, one's a coordinator of it. Why would they have all 3 levels there? So who truly needs to be involved in the meeting? And then who truly needs to be involved in the project or with creating the vision forward? How is it we create all this? These are key components. Question number 3, how will this impact our operation? Because there's 2 ways this impacts our operation too. I want to be clear. 2 ways this impacts our operation. Number 1, it's the daily, what's going on now. The time and effort and energy we need to put into the project or into creating the vision. How does it alter some time and energy that we're producing for our operation? Or it's the other one. It's the other way that it affects it. How can this moving forward impact our operation perhaps in a positive way? Maybe we're talking about developing some kind of automated response system to inquiries at the front desk, or a different way of handling phone calls coming into the office, which all of a sudden now this is going to create more time for us to do work because we're going to automate it. Recently, I read this book, Effortless, and it was pretty insightful because one of the things it looks at to create a more effortless operation is what are things you can automate. And I think that's so critical. Can you automate your scheduling? I know right now the way my scheduling works, people could literally click on a link that's in my email and book a meeting with me. We don't have to, let's be real. How many times are we going back and forth 2, 3, 4 emails to try to find a time that works in a 2-week time frame?
Right.
And how much time is wasted doing that? And then we wonder why people have such sloppy email etiquette. Email etiquette has gone out the window in most cases.
100%.
So what can we automate? This is a great thing. How will this impact our operation? There are certain things we can automate. There are certain things we can make easier. Maybe it's a project to make life easier. And how will this impact our operation moving forward? Number 4, what does done look like? So that way we can all have an agreement on this project, or hey, we're creating a vision forward, or we're branding our company. What does done look like? Because let me tell you, one of the conversations I heard was 2 people talking together. They got a third person on the phone and they put it on speakerphone so we could all hear them in the airport. They had 3 different versions. So the person on the phone even brought in a 4th person to sit in there on speakerphone with them. 4 people, 2 in the airport, 2, I don't know where. Because they could not get on the same page with what done was. They all had a different perspective on what done was. These are things we need to go in the beginning of the journey, is define what done looks like. Because in some cases, done could be we're 95% there. We're 95% there, it's implemented. And after 6 months, We're going to PDCA this thing. That's plan, do, check, act. Had a plan, did the plan. We're going to check the plan now to make sure it's working the way we wanted it to. We're going to take the feedback we got, and now we're going to make adjustments to it. We're going to act by making adjustments to it. So what does done look like? Too many times in this world, we look at done as just like, hey, this is 100% absolute, no errors.
Mm-hmm.
That's not true. I don't care how much you pilot something, until you have it out in its environment, you're not going to know the true bugs in it. And how do we bring it back? Number five, key, and then mind you, all these questions, these are things you're sitting down. These are initial thing, and a leader should be able to walk into a room, either have these answers or generate these answers with the
Mm-hmm.
team that's the primary lead team on this. Five is budget. We absolutely need to know what our budget is. And if we're rebranding ourselves, even though that's a visionary thing, that's a huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
Projects, obviously, we're going to have a project budget. Have to be able to talk the money because people have to know what is the pool I can swim in with this project, with this vision. And then lastly, number six, how will we share the story? We should have any member of the team, any member, and that's just the team in the immediate room. Any member of that team should be able to tell the story in 60 seconds or less with the
Mm-hmm.
vision of here's what we're doing, here's why we're doing it, tell a story to get people on board. Their people that they work with should be able to tell that same story and get people on board. Everyone who is intimately involved in the project, doing work on the project, or sharing this vision, or creating the structure of the team, anybody should be able to share the story out. And that's one of the things that I really look at and think, wow, this is so critically important. These aren't complicated. Very powerful questions, though, that help eliminate some of that VUCA environment. Doesn't mean things don't change during the course of a project. Doesn't mean things don't change while we're working with a client. What it means, though, is we have a baseline to go with. And we can adjust changes in and out, in and out. And we still have potentially, at times, a volatile situation that we can now repair easily because we understand the direction. We can take the ambiguity out. There's no mysteriousness here because we've dove into these 6 questions. Make the complex simple and take out uncertainty because we have clear direction. Clarity eliminates the uncertainty and the ambiguity. How do we create clarity? How to create vision? That's what we're searching for with this. So that was my big rundown of the VUCA environment.
It's to me, it's what stands out the most is the direction, and then businesses just cut. I feel like too many times businesses are not comfortable with taking the time to slow it down a little bit and ask these questions. And I think they're just in the go, 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 go mode all the time. And I think that's very detrimental to these businesses. And I am a firm believer in too many cooks in the kitchen. And you just do, it's okay to have multiple people in or groups of people to have meetings. I don't think everything needs to happen in pairs and the certain people need to be in the room. I think it's okay to have group meetings, but I think it's important that people know their roles, and also leaders need to understand that who the decision makers are and who needs to be making these decisions. It doesn't need to be everyone in the room. It's also on the leaders to hire the right people to fit those roles, to fit those needs that they're looking for, and put them in the right places, because that gives direction of, okay, this is my role and this is what I need to do, and I trust that this guy that's their role and their, that's their direction. We all have the same common goal we want to reach, but when we get lost, it's inevitable that speed bumps are going to happen. It's inevitable that volatile situations or something's going to come up that's going to slow things down and make things a little tougher. It's important, though, like you said, to recenter things and to bring everything back. And that's what those questions are so important,
Mm-hmm.
to remember when you're trying to keep teams together. And I've seen it. You've obviously seen it in the airport recently. And I think we can both speak to being a part of those situations as leaders and also as non-leaders in those situations. And it can be very frustrating. And it's important to be comfortable with having those conversations. It's not calling anybody out. It's just confronting the situation. And it's a nice way to fix it rather than just go around in circles all day long and not ever get to a conclusion. These questions help you get answers of what direction do we need to go to. So that was a great breakdown, and we're really good to dive into that because I think, if you didn't, I suggest, if you're listening, rewind and write down those questions. And maybe we can make a social post about,
Mm-hmm.
these questions and put that out there because for me, I'm like, I could use this in my work. I mean, I think this is something that we can use as an exercise in my work. And I feel like there's other people out there that probably feel the same way. I want to shift now to the three P's, coach, of culture. And I was intentional with putting this hat on. It might be backwards on my screen, but I was intentional putting it
Love
on,
it.
putting the culture hat on. And
I
you know,
love it.
and my name is P, so the three P's of culture. I mean, this is premeditated. So I want to transition into your next topic of the three P's of culture: permit, promote, and practice. And what I said in the intro, if you don't recall, what you permit becomes the standards, what becomes the standard, and that's what they say that a lot in coaching, right? What you don't coach is you allow it, right? I think it's something along those lines. And so it's the same thing in the business field. What you promote becomes the priority, and what you practice becomes the identity. Elaborate more, extend more on that, coach.
Absolutely. You just gave me a really good idea. I almost feel like I should get a special shirt made, like some kind of special dry fit shirt that I wear for doing presentations, or like some kind of long sleeve that just
Yeah,
says culture across the front of it.
absolutely. Absolutely. I
I
mean,
love
I
the
got this.
hat.
I got this on my honeymoon at when me and my wife, during our honeymoon, because my wife's great. We went to a Miami Heat basketball game when
Mm.
we were out down in Miami,
Heat
and
culture.
Heat culture, and so that's obviously the color scheme if you are watching this. But I think every team should have something like this. They just kind of
Yeah,
coined it their own thing as Heat culture, but it goes without saying how important this word is. Um,
I
in our
love
world
it.
today.
I love it. So you raise a great point though. It is culture. And the three P's of culture: what you permit, what you promote, and what you practice. Now, I was last week when I was giving my presentations, in two of the presentations, I do highlight the three P's of culture. One of them, I dive in further and I give an exercise that the participants do. They write down some stuff, and honestly, in the end, it's take home. I want you to write down the thoughts that are on your mind now, because this is fresh in your mind now. And one of them, it's just an introduction because it goes into a bigger thing of culture. And it's really stressing leadership. That bigger piece with leadership gets into communication,
Mhm.
relationships, trust, the three P's of culture: permit, promote, practice. And then the final is BCD: no allowing BCD in your environment. That's blame, complain, defend. That's what the big leadership piece is. In the other one, when I'm talking about the specifics of just the three P's of culture, we do it in a slightly different way. Because, yes, to your point, what you permit becomes your standard. And actually, really, what you practice really becomes your standard.
True. It's the practice what you
It's
preach,
both.
preach what you practice kind of thing.
Yeah, it's both. Like, what you
Mhm.
permit starts to become your culture and what you allow.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
you're absolutely right. What you promote is giving people that insight. Hey, this is the kind of behavior he's promoting or she's promoting. This is what's being allowed
Mhm.
on the team or expected on the team. So the permit part. Permit is literally what you allow. In the reference that we did during the presentation, it was, we're trying to turn around culture, trying to build something special. So what are you permitting to happen that you wish to stop? Because it doesn't go to the culture that you want to create.
Mm-hmm.
What are you permitting to happen that you no longer want to see happen? So you need to put a stop to it. And how do you put the stop to it? That was one piece of the exercise, because if you're permitting it, you're allowing it, you're saying this is this is okay within our culture, within our standard.
Right.
If you're permitting it, and we want to stop that. In the particular case that I was speaking on, because we were talking about building a culture, what are you permitting that you no longer wish to have happening there? So you, as the leader, need to step up and put a stop to it. And how do you do that?
Mm-hmm.
What you promote. These are things you recognize. So-and-so is killing it on projects, and I want to recognize them. I want to promote their excellence. And the promote doesn't always mean that you're getting a raise or an advancement in position. Don't look at promote in the literal sense of that. Oh, they got a promotion. No, they didn't. It's the behavior and actions that you're promoting.
Right.
It's the behavior and actions when you have that press conference when you're the Miami Heat, Eric Spoelstra, talking about, hey, so-and-so really dominated this game in a way that the statistics are not going to show. Yes, they got some rebounds. What I want to talk about is the loose balls that they retrieved. Not just loose balls, though, that they ran around, got, and made an outlet pass so we could transition to offense. It was also the loose balls that they dove on the ground for.
Mm-hmm.
4 of them happened in the third quarter at a critical time. 2 more happened in the fourth quarter that so-and-so dove on the ground, got the loose ball, dished it out right away, and they equaled 5 transition points for us, a 3-pointer and a layup. You're promoting that action, that behavior that took place because someone was playing selfless basketball, not selfish, selfless. So how are we promoting? When someone does something good, are we sitting in a team meeting talking about wins? Every Tuesday morning, this is what I explained to the group that I was speaking with. Every Tuesday morning, we had a staff meeting. We talked about wins from the previous week. And this was my opportunity as a leader to promote great actions, great behaviors that were aligned with our team's vision and our standard. It was also an opportunity for everybody else on the full-time staff to be able to say the same things about either the part-time people or coworkers, any wins that we had, which now that stems into what we practice. What do you practice? That's your daily habits. That's the weekly rituals. That's the monthly things, the quarterly things, the yearly things that we go through. What are we practicing that sets the tone for the standard of our team?
Mm-hmm.
And what we are going to do, how we're going to operate, and how we're going to have clarity, how we're going to have vision forward. What are the things that we are practicing? If you don't practice right, you can't play right. If you don't practice right, you can't play right. It's no different in business. You can't magically flip a switch and have a great culture. Your culture is the living, breathing organization around you. And how you feed it on a daily basis is what you practice. And what are you practicing? Are you practicing great etiquette with each other? Are you practicing great email etiquette? Or are you all sending crap emails to each other? Are you practicing good communication? Are you practicing clarity of message? Storytelling about where the organization is going so everybody in that organization can tell the story.
There's not
These are,
much more that bugs me than bad email etiquette. Sorry to interrupt, but
oh, keep going with it,
there's
man.
there's not much that bothers me more in the business world than email etiquette. I grew up learning how to read and write properly, and to be honest, I don't have the best grammar when I'm writing, and I'm not the greatest writer, but I have learned over the years to just have proper punctuation and capitalization and just basic when knowing when to use a comma
Yeah.
and knowing how to make it not bundle it all together and kind of space things out to make it visually easier for someone to read. I mean, these all simple things that I kind of taught myself. I never took a necessarily a class for it. Maybe I took one in community college back in the day, but honestly, it's something that when we're talking in the business world, obviously when you have a customer, that's one thing. They're customers, you don't expect it. But when you're in business conversations with other coworkers and other team members, there's not much more than when I hate to say it, but I lose a little bit of like, just of
Hmm.
respect almost, just of
You
like, do
do.
you know how to spell properly? And of course, there's going to be, typos here and there but you can tell pretty easily when someone doesn't have good email etiquette. And frankly, coach, I get annoyed when bad text message etiquette. And that's obviously in a way more informal way than
Yeah.
email etiquette. But even when you don't have proper text message etiquette of, I mean, like people who turn off autocorrect, I'm like, I don't know why you do that. Like, I think, those are it's something that I think reading and writing is a lost thing. And for the kids that are listening, for the younger generation that's listening, even if you're in college, eh, learn how to read and write. I mean, and parents teach your kids how to read and write properly,
Yeah.
because spelling is kind of the root of all of this, in my opinion. And I notice, as coaches, I think we know this a lot when we communicate with high school kids via text. You're like, oh my God, like, do you even know how to spell like basic words? I mean, it's unfortunate because I know we were taught to do that, and I don't know where it's gone, but yeah, just the
Here's,
importance of email etiquette, as small as people might think it is. I want to highlight it because I'm not the only one that feels that way. You feel similar.
mhm.
There's thousands and thousands of people that feel the same way in the business world. Leaders that won't even look at you a second time unless you have that proper etiquette and technology and communication via technology is so prominent these days. It's important that you at least use the resources there. I mean, if you don't know how to spell, okay, well then use autocorrect. Use spell check. Double check your work, proofread your work. Even if you aren't the best speller writer, just make sure you
Yeah.
double check your stuff, right? I mean, there's ways around it, even
And
if you aren't the best at it. But it's a small piece that I
yeah.
think can grow into big problems, and I want to highlight how much it annoys me.
No, you're right. And honestly, these days, especially if you're writing a big important email, put it in Chat GBT
No kidding.
and just say, could you please proofread this for
No kidding.
any errors? It
And it'll
doesn't
even,
it
it'll
doesn't
even
even have to
spice it up
change
for you.
it.
And it'll even
Yeah.
splice it up a little bit, just make
Yeah.
its flow a little better. But yeah, 100%.
I mean, I don't want to read the email and feel it came from ChatGPT. I don't want to feel like it
Sure.
was a bot that wrote the email. I
Yeah.
don't want to read you sending me an email and it sounds like it's a bot. Me leave it
Right.
as you. But if you're going to be unsure, at least if you don't have someone to proof it for you and you're unsure, put it in the bot.
Yeah, we have the resources, right?
And let's go one step further with the email etiquette about because these are so important for the daily practices. I once had someone on staff who just wasn't hitting the mark, and people were coming to me to say, "Hey, so and so's just not getting it done." And this person, I remember being notorious for poor email etiquette, and me having to say something multiple times about like addressing someone in the email. Sometimes when it's an internal email, I can get over it.
Sure.
Like if you send me an email and you don't say Jason, comma, and blah blah blah, and then some kind of thanks or you know respectfully or whatever at the bottom after you've written everything. Sometimes I can get past that if it's inter-office.
Sure.
What I cannot get past though when it's inter-office is if there's no greeting, no goodbye, thank you at the end or anything, and you send a stinking email to me where I was asking a couple points of clarification and you give me a fragmented sentence that answers one of three things I asked.
Oh man.
And it's a
Oh,
fragmented sentence. I used to work
oh,
for a supervisor that did that all the time.
oh. Poor replies where it's
Yeah.
poor spelling, a bad etiquette, and then you don't even answer the
Hmm.
questions in the reply. Just shows ignorance and honestly a little disrespect that I didn't even
Yeah.
read your email.
And frankly, I remember there was a person that used to do that, and this person was always short on giving information. Just there was something about this person. They were a minimalist and literally just would not give much information. Then would try to assure me that they were giving our customer or guest or whoever, oh no, I'm giving them all the information. I've been writing it way more thorough. I've just been sending you shorter messages so you don't have to read a ton. And once upon a time when this person was gone on a vacation, I got three or four different messages highlighting that, well, we've been trying to get this answer from this person for 3 weeks and haven't been able to. Then, when that person was finally gone from the organization, we got a thank you from many guests saying, well, yeah, that so and so just like they weren't very helpful. And I was like, yeah, no, I get it. They didn't fit the three P's of culture. So, so it happens. And the
Yeah.
three P's of culture are important. And while I was reeling it in piece by piece by piece, it was a lesson for me that even as a strong leader, I still wasn't reeling the person in enough. And if you as a leader are having concerns about how someone's communicating with you, they're probably not communicating outside better.
Right.
And that's a key component.
No, it's so true. And it's a basic sign of respect. I mean, it kind of leads to the final point of teamwork here. I mean, we are working as a team, and yes, there is a hierarchy, and I believe in a hierarchy in business. I don't think everyone needs to be having the same roles and having the same making the same decisions on everything, and we'll just want all kumbaya, hold hands, and we'll all make decisions together, kind of thing. I'm not a believer in that, but so I do believe in a hierarchy, but I do believe in the leaders can't do it without the hierarchy below them, and the people below the leaders can't do it without the proper leadership up top. So in the end, it is a culmination of a team effort, and like a football team. If one guy goes flinches, has the slightest flinch, it affects the whole team 5 yards and they go back, right? If one guy
Absolutely.
decides to pull down a wide receiver that's going to catch a ball, you are now putting your defense against a wall. All 11 guys. It's not just you one guy, it's all 11 guys. The smallest mistake can lead to big things. At the same time, the smallest mistake, I mean, there's ways to avoid it, and there's ways to not make small mistakes into bigger mistakes. But the teamwork is just so key, and so it's important for leaders to understand to not get on their high horse and maybe their ego train of I'm the leader and I'm the boss and I'm awesome. To respect those below and be like, I need these guys and I need to empower them. I need to promote the right things and I need to highlight these wins to make them feel like they matter and also add some fuel to the fire of like, let's keep this going, let's keep rolling and not get complacent. On the other hand, these guys underneath need to understand that yes, they are a boss and they might not do the same work as you, but they are in that position for a reason. And we need to work together and my piece adds to the puzzle and this guy's piece adds to the puzzle and then we all get it to the leader to put it all together. I mean, it's just such a team effort and such things as email etiquette can bring the team down. Right, you're only as strong as your weakest link, right? So you want to make sure the weakest link is pretty damn strong, right? I mean, you don't want it to be that
Right.
because then also you have team members that then see the weakest link, and even though they're not a weak link and they're a pretty hard worker, well, this guy's down here doing all this. Well, I might lower my standards a little bit. And if the leader's not helping everyone raise that standard, then eventually you're going to have the whole team falling down and not really giving it their all because you just don't have a match. And it's important first in the hiring process to pick the right people, put them in the right place. But then it's important to have I think team gatherings, team meetings to bring everyone together. It doesn't have to be long. I know people are like, well, I hate these team once a week meetings. It doesn't have to be once a week. It doesn't have to be an hour long either. It can be a quick 5 minute touch base. Hey, you good? You good? You're good. Let's go. And I think that gives people the opportunity to be like, to give an update in front of the team. And then everyone knows that, okay, that guy's doing that. That guy's doing this. Let's make this happen. But everyone has to do their piece to make it succeed. It's not just one guy in the whole battle, one coworker in the whole battle that makes this engine go. It requires the whole team, and any
Mhm.
successful business will tell you that. And that's where the VUCA environment, avoiding those things, it can help your team thrive better. Using the 3 Ps of culture helps your team thrive better. And those are just the guidance. It's tools that we're just trying to provide you that you can maybe use in your life, in your world, in your environment to avoid things, to guide in the right direction. But in the end, it's a team effort, and you have to be able to work in a team. And it's great how it all encompasses that aspect of I mean, we're a team here on the podcast. We have to work with each other to make sure this podcast runs, even though it's a small team. It's a two-man team here, but we still have to work with each other and work with our skills and work with what we are trying to accomplish to make sure this is a strong and powerful podcast so people learn and get better from it and improve. So um, teamwork is the name of the game, and learning to work in a team. You young kids that hate group projects, find a way to make it work, because the younger you can learn how to work in a team, the easier it's going to be when you get older, right?
There's so much truth to all that. And one of the things I think about a lot is the role of the leader. Because I'm with you. Yes, there's a hierarchy. Yes, there is someone in charge who answers to everything.
Yeah, there's got to be. There's got to be.
There is someone in charge that answers to everything. Every organization you look at, whether it's a CEO, whether it's a
Mhm.
director, whatever the case is, someone's always answering to something. Eventually, you answer to a board. What the leader needs to be relentless with, absolutely relentless, because it is the leader's number one job: cultivate culture. The absolute, hands down, most important role any leader plays: cultivate culture. Bring a team together, cultivate the culture, have a standard. This is our standard. Everybody knows the standard. We tell the story of our standard, our vision, where we're going, what we're doing, how we're doing it. We're cultivating the culture by doing that. All of those little things go into cultivating the culture. That's the leader's number one job. The leader's number one job isn't to give orders, it's to create a culture that everybody wants to be a part of. I even give a presentation that's building a team where everyone matters,
Hmm.
because every single person on that team matters. What we wrap our mind around during that presentation is the acronym TEAM. The acronym TEAM: teach, equip, attract, maintain. We are going to teach our standard, cultivate culture, open the lines of communication. Next, we're going to equip everybody on our team with what they need to get their job done to the best of their abilities. You have to equip them.
Hmm.
Then we attract talent, because we've created a culture and a standard that people want to be a part of.
Right.
We attract talent. People want to be a part of what we are doing. And we sell them on it through the interview process. One of the things I preached to people last week: sell someone on your organization and why they should come work for you. Because if you really think about it, at least 50% of the people that are coming to interview with you don't even know if they want to leave their job. They were looking to see if the grass is greener on the other side, or they thought there might be a little bit of a payday involved. They thought, but they're not sure. They don't even know that they want to leave their job. Sell them on why they want to leave their job. Attract the talent. It's not just them selling you that you should hire them. You should be selling them on why you're the best darn place to go work. And if you can't do that, then you need to work on your cultivating culture. You need to work on your vision. You need to work on what it is you are doing to serve a community or to serve a business, to serve an organization. And the last piece is maintain it all. Maintain it by having systems in place. Maintain it by automating where we can. Maintain it day in, day out by our daily practices. And then we are one cohesive unit together as a team. Sometimes we almost make it sound too simple, don't we?
Well, honestly, and I want to, as we wrap it up, I want to let the listeners know, and me personally, Coach, thank you for sharing all of this because it's a free lesson that people you could pay to get these same lessons and the value behind it and
You
what you're
actually could pay to get the lesson.
it's
Like
so
it's real.
it's real. And so
I give it.
we just laid it out. We just laid it out for you in a pretty solid way here in the podcast so you can take and use into your world. I mean, these are real life, real world, real business lessons that I think people can really, really use. And we're not just getting on this just to hear ourselves talk. We want to help. That's what the podcast is about. It's wanting to give you opportunities to improve, whether you're in a business, starting a business, whatever it is, whether you're young, adult, old, whatever it is. I mean, you can always use these in any aspect of life. And so, Coach, thank you for sharing all these lessons because it's so valuable. And as me hosting the podcast, I'm sitting here saying, like, I can use these lessons. So if I can use these lessons, if you're listening, you can use these lessons too. So, any final thoughts, Coach?
You're right. These are good lessons. I literally taught, spoke on, however you want to word it, all of these last week in various sessions. And they're pieces. They're pieces of a bigger puzzle.
Sure.
So yes, I do actually work with organizations doing this stuff. I do actually work with people doing this stuff. And while we might make it sound simple, the first step is the hardest. Taking that first step is the absolute hardest. And people, what I have seen, and I actually had a really in-depth conversation last week with someone. And what we kind of came to the culmination of, they literally felt paralyzed by all the potential pieces that go into the process. They could not get themselves to wrap their head around taking a first step. The first step is the hardest. They were like just absolutely stuck in place, frozen until we talked through it. And then they're like, hey, I don't know exactly what step I'm going to take now as my first step. And I said, once you take the first step, the dominoes will just continue to fall. And
Right.
it'll come to you, hey, what's best for my organization to take the next step? So yes, I speak on these things. Certainly you can hit me up and we can talk further. The key is learn. Learn from and with each other. That's kind of my parting message for the day. That was my parting message from the conference. Learn from and with one another, because that's what's going to make us stronger in the end. And like Coach P and I always say, you're not alone. We're here. You're not alone. You have colleagues, you have us, you have family, you have friends. You're not alone. You can always call, bounce ideas.
The world is humans helping humans. That's what this world is. No matter what, there's a human behind it making it happen, and we can all, yeah, I love that. Learn from and with one another is such an important and valuable lesson. If you're enjoying the podcast, we'd really appreciate you subscribing, sharing, dropping a review wherever you listen to your podcast. You can find the Third and 30 podcast. You can find us on social media. We drop clips from these episodes. You can also check out our personal social medias, Jason Chaddock, Praveen Marchbragada. Check those out as well. But really appreciate you listening. And if you do enjoy, please share it with a friend. if you're a listener and you have it all down, you're like, I already use this in my day-to-day life, guys. I've got this isn't good for me. Well, do someone else a favor and share the podcast with them, someone that could use it in their world, a business owner or a business manager or an employee that might be struggling in their ways a little bit. Share this podcast with them, and hopefully, we can share and help with the message that we have to offer. But Coach, thank you as always. A pleasure as always. I really enjoy having these conversations with you outside of putting out a podcast for people to listen. I think it's fun just to have this conversation between ourselves and just learn from each other and learn these different things. So, great episode today, and I appreciate you. And we can't wait to catch you guys in the next one. Have a great week. And as always, I lost my train of thought. But this is the Third and 30 podcast. We appreciate you listening.